funk this party up right here. I said murder.